Hello and welcome to Super Rugby Round 17 predictions brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, your best place for rugby predictions and opinion. Yes, the June international window is closed. They're all finished and all the players are back with their provinces. Well, the ones that aren't injured, that is. And we now have the final run-in to the playoffs. So 3 rounds of rugby and let's just quickly remind ourselves as to the standings. I'm sorry, I was going to realise I should have brought that up on my other laptop first. But the Crusaders were the team that was top of the table, and they're there, but they had actually played an extra game than all the other sides apart from, the Lions. But on 54 points, they had a 9-point gap over the Hurricanes in the New Zealand Conference. So a 9-point gap. The Hurricanes have got a game in hand, though. Then come the Highlanders, 5 points behind the Hurricanes. The Chiefs are further 3 points back on 37 points. And all those 4 teams are in the playoff positions currently. And then the Blues come last with 17 points, 20 points behind the Chiefs. So already they are they mathematically can't come better than last in their conference. Over in Australia, the Waratahs top the conference on 35 points and are very closely followed by the Rebels on 34 points. A further 9 points back at the Brumbies. Then we have the Reds further back and the Sunwolves at the bottom of the pile on 10 points. The Tars and the Rebels are both in the playoff contention, with the Brumbies being 9 points behind, only 3 games to play. You've got to say they're probably out of the reckoning now. I mean, 3 wins obviously could get them up there, but it's unlikely. And then over to the Africa Conference, or South Africa Conference, the Lions are on 40 points. The Jaguares are 6 points back on 34 points, but with a game in hand. So if they win that game with a try bonus point, they'd just be 1 point behind the Lions. So it could get very tight in the Africa Conference as well. The Sharks are 6 points behind the Jaguares, so not totally out of it, considering the Jaguares have got to play twice on the road and they have to play the Sharks as well. But it's getting. But they really do need to have some good results to finish the series. The Stormers on 25 points, so 3 points back on the Sharks, but they've also played an extra game. So you've got to say they are pretty much out of it. And then the Bulls are in last place on 24 points. Probably should climb above the Stormers if they've got a game in hand. But let's be honest, again, 10 points behind the Jaguares. They're not about to start troubling the playoffs. So the sides in the playoffs currently in the first seed are the Crusaders, followed by the Lions and the Waratahs, basically the 3 conference leaders. The Hurricanes come in 4th, with the Highlanders 5 points behind them. Then the Chiefs are 3 points back in the 6th seed. 7th seed are the Jaguares on 34 points, 3 points behind the Chiefs, and the Rebels are 3 points on the same number as the same number of points as the Jaguares, but with 1 less win, are on 34 points as well. So that's how it all stands going into round 7. First game up, we have the Blues versus the Reds, and this is the final chance for the Blues to win a game at home. All 3 of their victories have come away. Now the Reds have got a slightly better record with 4 wins so far in this competition, but both coming off losing streaks. The Reds have lost the last 4 games, the Blues lost the last 3 games. I'm going to go for the Blues at home to finally get that home win. This is their last home game of the season. It's Jerome Kano's last home game before he leaves New Zealand, and I think they're going to. Well, I believe they're going to set it up and back in the Blues by 3. So not with an awful lot of confidence, I must admit. Then the Rebels host the Waratahs. As I say, these are the 2 sides. This is second hosting first in the Australia Conference, only 1 point between them. One of the things we said about the Rebels was that they had a harder run-in. They had a relatively easy early season, which is what got them that great start. The Waratahs obviously without Hooper, who's injured, but the Rebels without Genia. So you've got to say that the drop-off between Genia and Ruru is going to be higher than the drop-off between Hooper and whoever comes in to cover for him. So even though the Rebels are coming off the back of 3 wins, I've got to say I'm going to back the away team here, and back the Waratahs when that one by 5. And with that, I think they're probably pretty much looking at sealing the Australia Conference if they do get that win. Heading over into Saturday, and the New Zealand evening game is the Highlanders hosting the Chiefs in Fiji, not down in Dunedin. So the Highlanders just currently 3 points ahead of the Chiefs, and also have been playing some good rugby. They've only lost 2 of their last 7 games, whereas the Chiefs have been very much up and down. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss is their last 7 games. I'm going to back the Highlanders to win this one by 5. The Chiefs are welcoming back Brodie Retallick, but you got to wonder again. But they have been suffering lots of injuries, and I'm not sure how many players they'll have back. I mean, Sam Cane's been in and out. Was rested, wasn't he, for the All Blacks? I don't know how if he'll be back as well. We then head over. So yes, I'm backing the Highlanders by 5. We then head over to Canberra, where the Brumbies host the Hurricanes. Now, the Hurricanes have lost their last 2 games, and all 3 of the losses have come away. The Brumbies have won their last 2 games, but let's be honest, the Brumbies' wins were against the Sunwolves and the Bulls, unlike the Hurricanes, whose losses were away to the Highlanders and the Crusaders. So, yep, I expect the Hurricanes to get back on the winning track here, and I'm backing the Hurricanes with right comfortably by 10. Then the Sunwolves host the Bulls in their home stadium of Singapore. So this is one of their 2 games they play out, one of their 2 home games they play outside of Japan. Obviously, they won their last home game that they played away in Hong Kong, and here's their next one. The Bulls, I mean, they traditionally they are poor travellers. Let's be honest, and they have only won 1 game away from home all season. And that was away to the Sharks, obviously in South Africa. So they've not won outside of South Africa this season. And that includes the 30-point loss to the Jaguares. And so I'm going to back the Sunwolves to win this one by 3. The Japanese players had a decent June window. They beat Italy, then they lost to Italy, and then they nilled Georgia. So we're coming back with a whole bunch, with a lot of confidence. Admittedly, Jamie Joseph is back in New Zealand for an operation on his back, I believe it is. So he won't be coaching them, and Brown will be taking over those duties to finish off the Super Rugby season. But still, I think they should have enough. They should be in with a good shout here. So I'm going to back the Sunwolves by 3. So again, not a lot of confidence, but hey, let's be honest, the Sunwolves have only won 2 games all season, so you're not going to have much confidence for any of their games. We then head over for the 2 games in, of the only game in South Africa in this round. What was the one earlier? No, this is it, where the Sharks host the Lions. Now, the Sharks have have won 5 games. 4 of them have been at home. So they've only lost 2 games at home, which were to the Bulls, and they had that draw to the Waratahs early on. The Lions, they've had a bit of a up and down season, haven't they? I mean, losing to teams like the Bulls, only beating the Sunwolves by 2 points. They've had some strange results in there, and their tour didn't go particularly well either. Obviously, they beat the Waratahs, but they then lost to the Reds, the Hurricanes, and the Highlanders. But they have come off the back of a couple of wins against the Brumbies and the Stormers. And the Lions have not lost against South African opposition for a very long time now. I can't remember what the stat was now, but we're talking kind of years rather than just months. So you've got to back the Lions in this one. I'm going to back the Lions to win this one by 3. And to finish things off, we have the Jaguares hosting the Stormers. Jaguares have won their last 6 games on the trot, which has put them into that second place in the Africa Conference. They need the win here because it's their final home game to keep up with the Lions. I say the Lions haven't lost against South African opposition, so there's a good chance they'll get the win before this. And against the Stormers, who have so far have won no games away, so they've played 7 away, lost 7 away, from home. All their 5 wins, have been at home. So yeah, lost 7 games away this season. They're pretty much out of the reckoning, as I said earlier, for the playoffs, being 9 points behind the Jaguares, having played an extra game. So I'm back in the Jaguares when it's on by 5. Sure, we've got to see how they come back after having that really torrid time with Argentina over the Juniors Nationals. They lost all 3 of those games, 2 against Wales and 1 against Scotland. They really looked out of sorts. Can Mario Ledesma turn things around and get them back, get their heads in the right space for this game? We'll have to wait and see. But I say I'm backing the Jaguares to win that one. So those are my predictions. Blues by 3, Waratahs by 5, Highlanders by 5, Hurricanes by 10, Sunwolves by 3, Lions by 3 and Jaguares by 5. So let me know your thoughts down below. Always up for a good old rugby chat. Or you can get hold of me on Twitter at DrivingMaul. So thank you very much for watching. Do like this and don't forget to subscribe to get all your other wonderful shows about rugby.